Dude, what? I just got my first subscriber yesterday. Let's fucking go, baby. You're a beast. You're a beast. I love you, boo. I love you, boo. First sub. If you're watching this, comment. Bro, you're my man. Or girl, I don't know yet. But anyway, today I want to talk about a lie that society has fed all of us. It's been so deeply instilled into our physiology, into our nervous system, and it's fucking bullshit. And this is the lie that you need to know what you want to do with your life, and you need to be stable and abiding by society's standards to be worthy. So the whole time we go through school, first of all, it's a lie. There's nothing wrong with you ever. You've just been fed a lie. You've been fed a lie. And that lie has been perpetuated through school. So you got to follow line. You got to fucking do what the teachers say. You got to raise your hand when you want to talk. It's this, really, it's a stealing of everyone's autonomy. It is telling you to abandon yourself for the greater good of the machine, for everyone else's approval. And it's a lie. And it leaves you completely miserable. It leaves you confused. I know it left me like particularly confused for most of my life. I'm only 29, which some people might think is old, but I'm realizing is really not. And for most of my life so far, I have bought into the idea that I need to make something of myself and that I need to figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life. That is a lie. That is a lie. When ambition comes from fear, it is tainted. It is wrong. And society instills ambition through fear, through feelings of unworthiness if you don't know what you're going to do. So there's this huge rat race that everyone goes through when they're growing up. And I can see it. It's a franticness that is instilled in our nervous systems. It is a franticness to figure it all out, to have this perfectly laid out 5-year plan. And it's bullshit. If you have a 5-year plan, seriously, it's going to sound weird. If you have a 5-year plan, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. Life, when you're a kid, is the purest form of your soul. Before your soul has been tainted by all these false ideas, before all these fears of ego have been driven into your skull, a kid just does what they want. And they are explorative. They don't think too far into the future. They follow the positive flow of energy in their bodies. And that's what I really want to preach to you, is to ultimately let go of all those negative energies that live in your body. The programs that have been instilled into your mind have also been instilled in your body. And to let go of them is the same thing as to revert back to your childlike state. To revert yourself back to zero, where your ambition comes not out of fear. Okay? Where your ambition comes purely out of interest. I had a friend say to me, he said, I want to start a business. And I told him, oh, what business do you want to start? And he said, I don't know yet. I just think that I got to be a businessman. I got to be a businessman. I said, that doesn't make any sense. There's no like actual personal motive in that. Like, if you enjoy a certain thing, then you can build a business around that. But to say you have a goal of, I just want to build a business, like, that's just so obvious to me that that's society rubbing off on him. And it makes me feel sad. So getting back to what I was saying, we're driven this false message our whole lives. And it causes a fear of not being worthy. It causes a fear that creates franticness and bad decisions. Bad decisions. And it's not any fault of our own. I'm not shaming anyone. What must occur, what you must just remember, it's not even that you're broken. You're fed crap. Your soul is ultimately always pure. It's always in there. It's just been painted with poop. It's been fucking painted with poop. So how do you remove the poop is really what I'm getting to in this video. The way you remove the poop and come back to your childlike state, which is who you really are, is to sit with the bad sensations occurring in your body. One sec, there's just a truck coming by. Like I was saying, it lives in your nervous system. You need to sit with all the crap that's in your body, and you need to do nothing for a bit. You need to do nothing for a bit. Sometimes it's easy to take wrong action. So you fill your days with crap because if you sit there, you think, I'm being lazy, I'm being unproductive. Another fucking lie. Another lie you've been fed. You need to be okay with just being unproductive for a bit. Removing all the crap. So like, what are you doing that you just don't align with? And remove that and allow space to sit with yourself. You sit with those unpleasant sensations in your neck, in your chest, in your belly, and let them express themselves. Those are your little child in you saying like, fuck you. Like, I'm going to express myself now. And when you sit with all that crap that's built up, it slowly releases out of your body. And what happens is you go back to a zero state, a state where you're not impressionated. I don't even know if that's a word. Where you're not painted by society's crap. When you can return to a state of zero and you can face your inner emptiness, the thing that you've been running from your whole life. Your whole life you've been running from that emptiness because it's scary. Because if you don't fill it, you're not worthy. If you don't fill it with something that quenches your fear, then you have to face it. And the absolute magic that we're all unwilling to go through is when you feel that crap in your body lift. And I'm not saying it's pleasant. It's fucking horrible to experience. And seriously, like, the amount of self-love you need and the amount of patience you need with yourself is very high. But if you can give yourself that radical love to tell yourself you're allowed to rest and digest yourself. You don't need to be productive all the time. You don't always need to have it figured out. If you can give yourself that grace and even just spend, like, here's a challenge I did the other day. I sat with myself all day. The only thing I allowed myself was water, food, and a shower. And the rest of the day, I sat with the sensations in my body, in the neck, in the chest, in the belly. And with with so much love. I said, whatever is here, you're allowed to be here, no matter how intense. And no matter how intense, I'm still safe. Nothing can hurt me. And when you do that, you start to make peace with that emptiness inside of you. You start to make peace with all of your fears. They actually lift. Your fears actually come out of your body and like literally are gone forever. But the most important thing is you make peace with this emptiness. When you can just be alone with yourself, when you can be fully alone with yourself with nothing going on, that is the most powerful thing a human can do. Because when you have made peace with that emptiness inside of you, then you need nothing. And you fear the loss of nothing. Because nothing lost ultimately affects this. If I lose my job, I'm okay. My job is not a reflection of me. Nothing is a reflection of you. Your relationships, nothing. These are all cherries on top that you are privileged to experience. But the ultimate you is in itself whole. And when you take off the crud, when you remove the poop stains from your soul by sitting with the sensations in your body, your soul is pure again. You get to do what you desire. Because you don't need to figure out what you're going to be when you grow up. You don't need to figure out how to be loved. You are loved. And when you have that power, you don't need to think with a 5-year plan. You follow your bliss. Literally, you follow your bliss. That's the key to life. That's real ambition. Real ambition is when you follow your interests. When you play. You just fucking play. Is when you play like a child again. You don't need a 5-year plan. You just need to play. And as you play, things will happen. And then you follow the new situation. It's like looking 2 feet ahead and just prancing around like a little doofus. Like, if you're into art, just like, you're gonna be like, oh, I want to make a painting. Cool. You make a painting and you're like, sick, that was fun. And then you get a new idea. You're like, fuck, that would be sick. Let's do that. And as you just move down the line and you react to life, reacting to life is so much better than preparing for life. Oh my God. The amount of mental energy it takes to prepare for life. So gay, dude. So gay. It's actually like soul destroying. When you're like, make a plan, it's soul destroying. We were meant to live by trust. And not even by trust. You don't even need faith or trust. When you know that you're already okay, no matter what happens, you don't need faith. Yeah, I need this to work out. Oh my God, I'm not going to do a 5-year plan. And I'm just going to go step by step. But I need this to work out. You don't need it to work out. You're excited to be alive. And you have the privilege to do what you want to do. And say you make a couple paintings, man, you're like, fuck, these are some really good paintings. Somehow something can flourish out of that. Maybe you become an artist and sell your works. Maybe you're really into sports and you love teaching sports. Maybe you become a coach. But you walk one step at a time. One step at a time. One step. Also, society, here's another lie. Here's another lie that makes me sick. Makes me sick to my stomach. Not even that you gotta make something of yourself, but that you need to better yourself. I believe in growth. I do. But there's a difference between like a genuine desire to grow and a fear that you need to be better for people to love you. That is a key distinction. Like the self-help community, it paints a picture that you are not good enough as you are. And if you learn these 7 to 10 strategies, people will love you. If you start taking cold showers every morning, then you're going to have the dopamine to get and do what you need to do throughout the day. If you meditate and journal these 5 affirmations, then you are going to be in a headspace where people are going to love you so much. Oh, fuck, dude. Fuck. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's slavery is what it is. I lived that way for so long. I would have this fucking routine. I'd have a damn routine ready to go. All right, at 6 a.m, I'm going to have a cold shower and I'm going to meditate. 6:30, I'm going to have 2 eggs, 2 pieces of toast. Dude, something really big just fell outside. What the fuck was that? That was super weird. It's almost like a crow just fell out of a tree dead. That was super weird. I don't know what that was. Oh, at 6:30, I'm gonna meditate. And when I get home, then I'm going to go to the gym. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna do this. These are all wrong actions. Not necessarily wrong, but if they come from a fear of, they're a fear of this emptiness in your fucking chest. Seriously, they're a fear of this emptiness in your chest. If you sit with this is all you fucking need. I'm telling you, no one online can give you the answer. No, not even me. No one online can give you the answer. And this is the biggest problem in our society, is online. We are constantly consuming information on what we think is gonna like fulfill us. Constantly. It's this obsession we have. It's an obsession we have of figuring it out, of having someone tell us what we need to hear. Like, oh, you need to do this. Fucking Diary of a CEO. Tell me how to fucking 7 productivity hacks. It's fucking, dude. It's a disease, I swear to God. No one on the outside, no one ultimately can tell you your path, what you need. You need, I'm telling you, this is just general. I can't tell you what it is. But what you need to do is you need to just sit with the emptiness. I know this is a weird contradiction. I'm saying no one can tell you what to do. It's because they're not giving you real personal information. You need to just get rid of the fear. Okay. I'm getting too excited. Let's slow down. When you wipe yourself clean and it's just your soul and none of the false fears affect you anymore, you can do what you want. You can fill your time how you please because you don't need external validation or love. And when you can fill your time the way you want is when your genuine self comes through and when genuine inspiration and ambition comes through. Until you can come to peace with this emptiness and void you feel inside of yourself and all this jumbled up crap in your body, when you can come to peace with that is when you're finally free, is when you're finally not run by the incessant urge to manage yourself and to fill that void. The amount of shame and the amount of fear that society instills in us is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The amount of fear. Like, dude, if you go on your phone and you have like a bunch of fear-mongering shit about like the world situation, dude, how does that affect you? That is not your problem. Yeah, it sucks that people are fucking dying in Gaza. But do we need to be reminded 12 times a day and just have this constant fear cycle re-emerging in our body unconsciously? And then this fear cycle runs us. It runs us. It is the root of our behavior. So we sit with ourselves for maybe 2 minutes a day, and the second we're not with our phone, we can't even go on the toilet without fucking going on our phone. The second we are confronted with our emptiness, it's too much to bear. So we pull out the phone again, and we re-stimulate all this fear-mongering and shame-based shit. It's either like news that's fearsome, it's either fucking politics, which is like pride-based, ego-based. It's either self-help, which is saying, you're not good enough, do these 10 steps and you'll be good enough. Everyone has their shit online, and when you're being constantly fed it, it just reinforces itself. The reality is, there's just nothing wrong with you. And it's really sad. When you really see it, it's sad. A baby is pure. A baby just is. A baby comes out of his mother's vagina and it doesn't think, I'm not good enough. It doesn't. So my 2 cents, the thing that I've been practicing lately is removing as many inputs into the system as possible, aka phone consumption. Removing that noise. That noise is detrimental because it leaves you in a brain fog. It doesn't actually cleanse your soul. It dirties it. That's what I'm doing. I am minimizing my consumption. And I am sitting with myself for a lot of time each day. Not going into thought, but just staying in the body and releasing all this crap. And I've been doing it for about 3 months, and I feel lighter and I feel more just intrinsically motivated rather than fear-based motivated. I love grappling. Like, I love jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I am starting to teach class. I am teaching classes. That is my first step of play. It's teaching jiu-jitsu classes. I don't know where it's going to take me. And I don't have a 5-year plan. But it's what interests me. It's what I love to do. And I'm just taking that first step. And it's scary. And you can't get rid of fear entirely, right? Like, fear is part of our nervous system. Like, a baby feels fear. Fear is an intrinsic part. But when you've just cultivated like a crazy amount of self-love and forgiveness, you allow yourself to fail. So yeah, I'm cutting out the noise. I have been sitting with myself a lot in the body. If you sit with yourself and you go into thought a lot, it's actually not really productive in my experience, because thoughts are just kind of like cyclical and they don't actually solve the problems. Oddly enough, most people live a lot in their head, and living in your head is a sin. It's a sin. It's a goddamn sin. Nothing to be ashamed about. Like, we're all human. But thoughts are never ending and they don't solve things. I mean, how long have you been trying to solve your issues? By thinking and by gathering information. And it's fruitless. It's fruitless. The body, I read a book called Letting Go by David Hawkins. He says the body and your emotions, like, your emotions all appear in the body. Your emotions are the portal that actually like creates thoughts. You can think of like thoughts as a tree and the fruits of a tree, but then like your emotions are the roots. So if you deal with your emotions by letting them come up and not really doing, like, letting them be, not trying to get rid of them, not trying to discard them, not trying to get them out of your body, but just letting them be there with love, then they actually begin to dissolve. And when they dissolve, the thoughts associated with them also leave you. So yeah, been sitting a lot, not consuming a lot, and I feel lighter. I feel less scared. I feel less burdened. I feel less needing to impress other people. Yeah, like, for most of my life I had like this complex where I was like, I need to make something of myself and I need to know what I'm gonna do. And it's a lie. You don't need to make something of yourself. No one gives a fuck. Ultimately, no one gives a fuck, dude. And if you do make something of yourself, people might even resent you for it. Like, we all think, you know, oh, if I make something of myself, then everyone will love me. Guess what? It might be the opposite. So all this external noise is just nonsense. Cleanse your soul. Cleanse your soul. And then the path will be revealed. And that path is of bliss. You don't need to suffer to make it in this life. You don't. You don't need to suffer. You need to follow your bliss. And a lot of us just don't give ourselves permission. We think it's being selfish. We think, oh, well, I have bills to pay and I have things to do and people to feed. I can't just do that. And yeah, I'm not saying that you don't have chores to do. I'm not saying that you don't have errands to run. I'm not saying you don't have a job to go to pay bills. That's all true. That's all fair. But there is a lot of unnecessary time wastage. There is. The amount of things you think you need to do to fill that time is not always true. It's not always true. So. Yeah. So. There's a dude like parallel parking beside me. It's kind of weird. Yeah, so take with that what you will. There's nothing wrong with you. Don't let the internet taint your soul. Okay, that's it for today. I'm distracted now. Okay, love you. See you in the next video.